The Ireland women's team played its first match 20 years and 4 days ago. And 9 days ago, the first ever win over England arrived, and it was symbolic of the massive strides made by a team still in its infancy.
It's been a remarkable week for Irish women's rugby. Last Saturday's 25-0 victory was their first ever win against England. The squad have this week been reflecting on their historic achievement.
It's been an exciting week, really, for Irish women's rugby. It was a great victory, one for the history books and one I'm very glad to be involved in. Just a great event all in all.
It was an unbelievably special day, and one that I don't think I definitely still haven't fully appreciated yet. But I've just been enjoying the time of just letting it all kind of sink in the meantime, so it's huge.
We'd never beaten England ever, in the history of women's rugby, in Ireland. So to win by such a margin without them scoring was a massive thing,
It's very much a blend of youth and experience in the squad. For some players, this result was a long time coming.
We always believed that we could do it, and every year we're getting closer. And I said before, this was the year the moral victories were over. And for the likes of myself, Lynne, Joy and Philip, we've been involved for 10 years. So to actually finally do it this year was just unbelievable.
The girls have been building up for this for quite a few years now. And I knew they had it in them. And they knew it in a way. They knew there was a performance there.
Yeah, there's been a lot of work this year between forwards and backs, interlinking in open play and things, so the lines we run off each other and things, so I think that had a big part on the game. It
was a real monkey off the back for Lynne and Fiona and Joy.
My first cap was in Worcester. We lost 79-0, so that was a bad day. So there's plenty of bad memories against England. To give them their respect where due, they're a phenomenal team, and it is a team that obviously we aspire to be like.
I suppose going in at half-time and you're 20-0 up, it's hard to know what to say because we've never been in that situation against England.
Yeah, it was great to score the 3 tries, and although it was a massive team effort, without them I wouldn't be in the position to score.
For the younger girls to not know how to lose against England, that's really powerful.
This weekend's match against Scotland offers Ireland an opportunity to secure a first-ever Triple Crown and in the process qualify for next year's World Cup in France. But they'll be taking nothing for granted.
The Scotland game is going to be different to the English. It has to be. They have other threats that England don't have. They are going to be a threat. Their set piece is good. They have about 4 or 5 individuals, excellent players.
We do need to be focused and, respect them because they are a quite good team, and we just need to, be clued in and play our own game and, again, work on the basics and try and be clinical.
Going into this competition, our priority was World Cup qualification, so that's still going to be our priority, and beating Scotland will do that and get the Triple Crown, which will be nice as well.
Triple Crown, technically they are still in line for the Grand Slam as well, Frankie. It's huge progress over a very short period of time for that team.
It's an absolutely wonderful story, and it didn't just start last weekend. This story started 10, 11 years ago, and you look back, obviously, Fiona Coughlan, Lynne Cantwell, but also people like Rosie Foley, who's Anthony's sister, and Fiona Steed, who's John Hayes' wife. And, going back to one of the results that they said there earlier, 79-0 in 2002. In 2006, they lost a game to England 29-10, and they were jumping around doing somersaults, so this was a result in itself. But the inspiring story just got better, and there was, all the adversity, the funding, the problems. The IRFU eventually got involved. I think in 2009 they went under that umbrella, which was a huge plus. But there's stories about them leaving for the airport at 3 o'clock in the morning to go to Belgium to get to France. This type of things, sleeping in gyms and doing all this type of thing, which it's an inspiring story, and to see it culminating in a 25-0 win last weekend, it's brilliant, and it's great to see. And the one thing I'd like everybody watching at home, that we should all try and get out and support this team a bit more. As you said, there's a Triple Crown on the way this weekend, hopefully, but there could be a Grand Slam in this team as well, which would be wonderful.
It's wonderful exposure, isn't it?
That galvanised them, that nightmare journey to France, the 2-day pony ride, and they arrived in an absolute heap and then were expected to go out and play. I think that woke the IRFU up to the fact that they really needed to get behind them and resource them properly. And I think it's great. It was mentioned on the VT there. I'm not sure if it was Lynne Cantwell or Fiona Coughlan said it, but between the two of them and Joy Neville, who've been soldiering away for years, getting battered by England, who, let's face it, are a really scary outfit. I mean, they take this extremely seriously, and they train very, very well.
And it's wonderful exposure for the ladies' game in Ireland, because it's been the talk, and there's been so much chat about it during the week. What a win against England. I mentioned it last week. This team defeated the Black Ferns 3 times in November, so it was a magnificent result.
Seven of the starting pack that beat New Zealand in the series in November played last weekend. Now their backs were significantly changed because England have filtered out some of those girls into an elite section for sevens, but the pack had 350 caps between them.
And what's really interesting about this team is, in the last few minutes, England were piling on the pressure to get a score, and 29 phases that they tried to score. Normally, Irish teams in the past, and Philip Doyle mentioned it, they just would have let the try out, but they have a ruthless streak now in them that they defended that try line, and it did matter to them that they didn't score.